Welcome to Sage X3 DOSFAB Work Order Documents Training. In this session, we will be learning about the DOSFAB documents. What are the DOSFAB documents? What controls them? The individual reports that are included, and some important information, so you want to stay to the end. The DOSFAB documents are made up of a group of 5 individual reports that can print when creating a work order. They include the job ticket, the production slip, the material issue slip, the routing tracking sheet, and the technical sheet. What controls how these print? They're controlled by a DOSFAB parameter, through the script dictionary, and finally on the work order entry transaction screens. If we go to Setup, General Parameters, and Parameter Values, go to the GPA Manufacturing chapter, then to the CTL Production Tracking group, we'll find the parameter DOSFAB. This parameter is used to define if it's mandatory or not for the reports to print in the production folder for a work order. If it is set to optional, it is possible to enter the work order tracking even if the documents in the production folder have not been printed. If it is set to mandatory, the work order is not proposed in the list of work orders to be tracked until the reports are printed. Under Development Script Dictionary window, we can select the window OMFG for work orders. On the Buttons menu tab, we'll click on the code CF, which is associated with action AMI P1. Note that the parameter definition for ETAT has a value of DOSFAB, which is the report code that is called when selecting the work order documents. Next, if we continue under Development Script Dictionary Reports, we can select the report code DOSFAB. In the Crystal Report box, the following report names are listed: the BONTREV, the BSM, the FICH, SUI or Fish Sui, the Recit Report, and the FICH, TEC or Fish Tech. These are the default reports that will be run unless others have been selected in the Entry Transaction Work Order screen. When going to the Documents tab under Setup, Manufacturing, Entry Transaction Work Orders, it's here that we can select which reports to automatically run and or replace the default reports with customized reports. You can create multiple entry transaction screens, each with its own set of reports. These changes do not become available to users until validation has been completed. Let's take a look at the individual reports that are included in the DOSFAB documents. First is the job ticket, and this report is used for the individual job tickets and individual operations to be carried out on selected firm work orders. The work order entry transaction screen defines if this report is to be printed. It also optionally allows the use of a formula to determine the number of copies to be printed. The material issue slip is used to obtain a list of the quantity of components or materials required for selected work orders, along with the dates on which they are needed. When printing via usage reports, you can select all or a range of work orders that can be included and selected by site code, project code, routing code, and date. The work order entry transaction screen defines if this report is to be printed. It also optionally allows the use of a formula to determine the number of copies to print. The total number of finished goods required is provided as well as allocated quantity for each component. The routing tracking sheet is used to obtain the sequence and details of the shop floor processes required to produce or process a product for selected scheduled work orders. All or a range of work orders can be included, selected by site code, project code, routing code, and date. The work order entry transaction screen defines if this report is to be printed. It also optionally allows the use of a formula to determine the number of copies to print. This report prints the sequence and details of the individual operations for work orders that have been scheduled. The total number of finished goods required is provided, as well as the setup and operating runtimes, and the start and end dates for each operation. The production slip is used to print the routing cards or the production slips for the selected firm work orders. Each card provides the details for a single operation and a routing. The detail end dates and timings are included, as well as the production resources for these work centers that to be used for the operation. The quantity of the component materials required for the operation, along with the date on which they are needed, are also printed. All or a range of work orders can be included, selected by site code, project code, routing code, and date. The work order entry transaction screen defines if this report is to be printed. It also optionally allows the use of a formula to determine the number of copies to print. This report prints one card or production slip per operation per work order. The total number of finished goods required is provided, as well as the preparation and operating times for each operation. The technical sheet report describes all of the checks to be performed on a released product at the level of an operation. It describes the questions asked for each operation on a work order. Let's take a look at some important facts that we should know regarding the DOSFAB reports. Let's take a look at the job ticket, the BONTRV or the BONTREV. This report can print multiple pages. The page breaks at each work center. And to print again, we would go to Reports, Reports, and use either the MFG Cost or the MFG Head L report. And if a work order is closed or completed and costed, this report will print blank. You can find additional resources using Knowledge Base Article 76255, Knowledge Base Article 99110, online help, or in Sage City. Thank you, and today you've learned about the DOSFAB work order documents, how they work, the individual reports, the work order entry transaction screens, the script dictionary, and vital information for important resources. Thank you.